Okay, so exposure to electromagnetic field is not a new phenomenon. However, exposure to man-made electromagnetic fields has been steadily increasing because growing electricity demands, advancing technologies, and change in our different behaviors have created more and more artificial resources for electromagnetic fields. Everyone is exposed to a complex mix of weak electric and magnetic fields at home, at work, from the generation and transmission of electricity, appliances, industrial equipment, telecommunications, and different broadcasting. So, there's tiny electrical currents that exist in the human body due to a chemical reaction that occurs as part of the normal body functions, even in the absence of external electric fields. So, for example, nerves relay signals by transmitting electric pulses. Most biochemical reactions, from digestion to brain activities, go along with the rearrangement of charged particles. Low-frequency electric fields influence the human body just as they influence any other material made up of charged particles. When electric fields act on conductive materials, they influence the distribution of electric charges at the surface. They cause current to flow through the body to the ground. So, low-frequency magnetic fields induce circulating currents within the human body. The strength of these currents depend on the intensity of the outside magnetic field. If sufficiently large, these currents could cause stimulation of nerves and muscles or affect other biological processes. Some members of the public have attributed a diffuse collection of symptoms to low-level exposure to electromagnetic fields at home. They've reported the symptoms, and they include headaches, anxiety, suicide, depression, nausea, fatigue, loss of libido. Also, general eye irritation and cataracts have been reported in workers exposed to high levels of radio frequency and microwave radiation. Some individuals report hypersensitivity to electric or magnetic fields. They ask whether aches and pains, headaches, depression, lethargy, sleeping disorders, and all the way up to convulsions and seizures could be related. So, now let's shift our focus towards ghosts. So, spirit effects and sensations that people feel or see when a spirit energy is around, or what people think a spirit energy is. Okay, some of the sensations that people have reported are electrical interference, shadows, different temperatures and temperature changes, feelings of anxiety, odd odors, objects that levitate, seeing different orbs, colored or of white transparent light. Animals seem sensitive. Okay. People have also reported that they have overwhelming feelings of sadness, desires to commit suicide. Let's not forget about that forest in Japan where people actually travel to it to commit suicide. Also, people report from entities not being able to sleep, having body aches when they wake up, with a feeling of being beat up. So, when we look at both of those lists and we compare the effects of these two subjects, we can see several similarities in the things reported. So what I'm proposing is that a lot of these hauntings are related to our energy grid that is under surface. Okay? So when we place different haunted areas on the map, we see a definite correlation. So a lot of these areas are around our angels and on or right next to the grid. So the energy from the angels travel the grid, and the areas around it are receiving energies that are higher than the normal background. So we feel this energy. Different areas would affect us more or less in different ways depending on the frequency that's being emitted. An example is what someone may call a malevolent spirit or demon would go off a very, very low frequency. It would affect us in a very negative way. It can make us very ill, physically or mentally. And then we do have other areas that, even though they're considered haunted, people feel really good or calm when they're there. They feel like it's a very loving entity, they call it. So that entity could definitely be of a higher frequency. That angel energy could be of a more positive frequency, a higher vibration, and it would affect us differently. But what I can see is that these haunted areas sit more or less on our grid or right around it. So that's just what I wanted to talk about, was maybe these hauntings are just very, very strong electromagnetic fields that we just can't understand the size of these things. And that would make sense why entire areas seem to have a whole lot of hauntings going on. So it's just something to think about, and have a good day.